صلى الله تعالى وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. إخوة في الدين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. lónìí inshallah nǹkan tí a jọ gbéyẹ̀wò lénìí léè tó ṣe pé àwọn àáfàá wa gan wọ́n ti wà lórí ètò báyìí àwọn àáfàá wa gan wọ́n ti wà lórí ètò báyìí léè tó ń túmọ̀ sí pé ètò wa ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ báyìí náà ni àwọn wo làwọn àáfàá wa tí a pè é gbogbo wa náà la mọ̀ wọ́n tó bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ àwọn náà ni Sheikh Professor wa Abdul Razak Kilani láti ìlú Port Harcourt lọ́hùn àwọn ni chief imam wa ní Port Harcourt University of Port Harcourt lọ́hùn kí Ọlọ́run bá kó bá wa lọ́rẹ̀ mi sheikh wa kó sì bá wa fún wọn ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìdáyà tó pọ̀ kó bá ṣe dáadáa fún wọn kó fún wọn lẹ́mìí gígùn lórí dáadáa àwọn ni wọ́n á bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí tí wọ́n sì ti wà ní orí ètò kí Ọlọ́run bá kó bá wa yọ́nú sí wọn gbogbo àwa tá a wà lórí ètò náà ẹ jẹ́ ká jókòó dáadáa láti lè kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ nípa ìgbésí ayé arákùnrin kan tí wọ́n ń pè ní Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam tí wọ́n ń pè ní Yusuf àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n fẹ́ sọ fún wa náà ni pé ká kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ tó fẹ́ kọ́ wa òun náà ni àwọn nǹkan tó ń pè ní gratitude àwọn nǹkan tó ń pè ní patience kéèyàn ṣe sùúrù àti grief tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbésí ayé ẹni yìí báwo lẹni yìí náà báwo ló ṣe take care àwọn situation yìí nígbà tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ abi Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó ṣe rọrùn fún oníkálukú wa bismillah ya sheikh.
A'udhu billahi samil alim minash shaitani rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
Okay, alhamdulillah ìtorí pé à ń record ẹ̀.
Ẹ bá lójú mi ni.
A fẹ́ rójú yín ni ìtorí pé à ń record ẹ̀. Okay.
Okay, so okay báyìí.
Ó wà okay. Okay,
alhamdulillah. Na'muduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa natawakkalu alayh. Wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fa huwa al-muhtadi wa man yudlil fala tajida lahu waliyyan murshida. Wa salawatu wa salamun ala rasulil karim. We thank Allah Ta'ala, the Lord of the world. We glorify him. We thank him he has created us in the best of form. We thank him that he has granted us the guidance of the Quran. And we testify that whoever that Allah has guided, no one can mislead him. And whoever that remains unguided, no one can guide him. We seek Allah's trusted blessing on the soul of our leader, our teacher, Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala and sallam, his family, his companion, and all Muslims follow this part of an Islam to the day of resurrection. Amen. Like the lecture that has been introduced earlier on, the topic is about patience, gratitude, and grief. Lesson from the life of Prophet Yusuf. And we'll be looking at this story from Surah to Yusuf. Now it's to use chapter 12 of the Quran from beginning to the end. Ọlọ́run dedicate to Surah láti sọ ìgbésí ayé. So I'm lesson and one lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan. We have about 14 lessons we want to bring out from the episode of the life of Yusuf.
Prof, before kẹ́tọ́ lọ, màá ní kẹ́jẹ́ ká lọ sórí pé kí picture yín máa wà ń bẹ̀ mọ́ because of ká lè gbọ́ yín dáadáa. Ó dà pé kìíní yẹn crack because of the video.
Yes. Okay. So, Surah to Yusuf. Ara àwọn túrà tí ó tọ́lọ́ sọ̀kalẹ̀ ní Mẹ́kà ni Mẹ́kà Surah ni Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ sọ̀kalẹ̀ ní ìgbà tí Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala wa sallam pé wọ́n dààmú. The Muslim in Mecca, they were in a period of sorrow. Ànábì fún ara ẹ̀ gan, it was a year of sorrow. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sànábì? Ànábì lùsì Abu Talib tó jẹ́ ọ̀nkú ẹ̀. Ó dẹ̀ lùsì ìyàwó rẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé ìyá wa Khadija. The two of them gave him unfailing support nínú iṣẹ́ tó lọ ń gbéra. But in the same year 619 Ọlọ́run mú àwọn méjèèjì mú ọ sọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run fẹ́ẹ́ fi kọ́ Ànábì wa lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà tó yẹ pé ẹ̀kọ́ tàà náà kọ́ náà ní gẹ́gẹ́ bí fún ni pé Ọlọ́run kì í gbé iṣẹ́ ẹ̀ lé ẹnìkan lọ́wọ́. Allah will always do his work. You there or you not be there, Ọlọ́run máa ṣiṣẹ́. So all of us we should make ourselves to be pillars in the work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ní àsìkò yìí náà, the prophet was very lonely. He was lonely. He was alienated from the social surrounding. The same way ni àwọn sàábé àwọn tó tẹ̀lé náà, they were also isolated. Àwọn ará Mọ́kà wọ́n ní wọn gbọ́dọ̀ tajà fún wọn, wọn gbọ́dọ̀ rajà lọ́dọ̀ wọn, wọn gbọ́dọ̀ bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀, wọn gbọ́dọ̀ bá wọn ṣe. Àsìkò yìí ni Ọlọ́run sọ Surah yìí kalẹ̀. And the story Allah is now reminding the prophet the story of a noble brother. Ànábì Ọlọ́run bá ọmọ ìyá ni wọ́n. Tani ànábì náà? Yusuf ibn Karim. Yusuf ọmọ Yakub ọmọ Isaac ọmọ Ibrahim. Gbogbo wọn pátá ànábì Ọlọ́run ni wọ́n. Ànábì Yusuf endures a series of tests and trials nínú ìgbésí ayé ẹ̀. Àkọ́kọ́ nínú ẹ̀ náà ni àwọn ọmọ ìyá rẹ̀ gan ọmọ bàbá ẹ̀ wọ́n scheme láti pa to get rid of him because bàbá rẹ̀ ó nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀, àwọn ẹlẹ́rìí pé bàbá wọn nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀ yàtọ̀. Then torí eléyìí wọ́n sọ sínú kànga, láti inú kànga náà ni wọ́n ti rà á, ó di ẹrú, láti inú ẹrú dídà náà ló ti di pé ó wọ ààfin ọba. Nínú ààfin ọba náà ló ti rí fìtínà obìnrin, ó di ẹlẹ́wọ̀n, ó kúrò nínú ẹ̀wọ̀n, ó di ẹni tó jẹ́ pé agbé ìjọba yé ni lọ́wọ́, ó di prime minister. Bákan náà àwọn ọmọ ìyá rẹ̀ àti bàbá ẹ̀ náà wọ́n tún padà wá sọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀, wọ́n wá forí kanlẹ̀ fún gẹ́gẹ́ bó ṣe lálàá ní ọjọ́ àkọ́kọ́. Àwọn ọmọ ìyá ẹ̀ àtàwọn bàbá ẹ̀ náà jẹ́ wọ́n plot against ẹ̀, ó foríjì wọ́n. Kò sọ pé torí pé bóyá nǹkan tó ṣe fún un bóyá ò ní foríjì wọ́n, ó foríjì gbogbo wọn. Allah now united the entire family. That's the gist of the life of Yusuf. Having said that, the first thing that was finish to my patient, what is sobru? Nínú èdè Lárúbáwá, Imam Shafi ní sobru náà ní pé kéèyàn ó ní ìfaradà, àbí kàtà táwọn òyìnbó ní self control tó jẹ́ pé ó gbọ́dọ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbésí ayé ọmọ ẹ̀dá èèyàn. Imam Shafi rọ̀ìmọ̀ ọ̀la ní àsọ́bùrù àsàlásà pé sùúrù ṣíṣe o, ìfaradà nǹkan mẹ́ta ló kún sí. Àkọ́kọ́ nù ẹ̀ náà ni pé ká ní ìfaradà láti ṣe ojúṣe wa sí Ọlọ́run Ọba, agbàwẹ̀ ni, akírun ni, ayọ̀sàká, ó lè máa ń sì fún wa láti ṣe. But because it is commandment of Allah, we must be patient in fulfilling them. The second one náà ni patience in abstaining from things that are forbidden. Àwọn nǹkan tó ní ká má ṣe, ó máa ń wò wá lójú, pé pé ṣètàn ló máa ń ṣe lè. Tábà lè ṣe sùúrù láì ṣe, eléyìí náà ara sùúrù kan ni. Ìkẹta náà ni ìsọ́bùrù alàdìbàlà, ká ṣe sùúrù nípa trial àti hardship àti difficulty tó bá bá wa. Ọ̀nà mẹ́ta tí sùúrù pín sí nínú ìgbésí ayé ọmọ mùsùlùmí eléyìí. Àwọn àdìyàn pé báwọn ìgbésí ayé Yusuf náà mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí. Kí náà pè ní gratitude? Òun náà pè ní ṣúkùrù nínú èdè òyìnbó, nínú èdè Lárúbáwá. Òun náà ní kéèyàn wà grateful to Allah, kéèyàn dẹ̀ wà appreciative fún àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀dá èèyàn. We show gratitude to Allah, we show appreciation to human being. So the two of them, Allah, we must be grateful to Allah, and we must be appreciative of people. Shukuru polishi, àkọ́kọ́ ní shukuru náà ni pé to have shukuru for the guidance of Allah. Ọlọ́run tọ́ wa sọ́nà ní pé a jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí. Pa àkọ́kọ́ mọ̀ pé a jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí, àkọ́kọ́ ní shukuru àgbọ́dọ̀ ní àkọ́kọ́ ṣe ní pé ní ọ̀hán wa, ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ àti pé yóò máa dúpẹ́ fún Ọlọ́run bá. Ọlọ́run bá sọ ní ìfún wa ní Suratul A'raf, Quran 7:43, Allah says, wa qalu alhamdulillahi allazi hadana li hada wa ma kunna linahtadiya lawla an hadana Allah. Àwọn tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n fẹ́ fi ìmúlẹ̀ hàn, they will say, all praises and thanks be to Allah who has guided us to this. Never could we have founded guidance were it not that Allah has guided us. So àtàjẹ́ Mùsùlùmí, agbọ́dọ̀ bá dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run wò wá pé àìmọye ẹni tí ń bẹ ń ta tó jẹ́ pé nǹkan tá a gbé lọ́wọ́ àwọn náà wò mọ́. So that is the shukru of guidance that Allah has guided us. The other type of shukru, òun náà ni for us to appreciate the name, the blessing of Allah on us. Kí ni àwọn blessing náà? Àlàáfíà, kájí láàárọ̀, kálá àlàáfíà, agbọ́dọ̀ mọ ilé. Ìkejì náà ni pé mọ̀lẹ́bí wa, family wa, kan wà righteous, kan wà on the foundation of Islam. Oore Ọlọ́run bá délé. Ọ̀nà kẹta lára àwọn oore Ọlọ́run bá òun náà ní ká ní iṣẹ́ alálùbáríkà lọ́wọ́ tó yẹ pé à ń jáde à ń wọlé a dẹ̀ ń tọ́ fámìlì wa. That's part of the nima, it's part of the blessing of Allah. Ìkànnì nínú ẹ̀ náà ni àrísìkí tó jẹ́ pé a lè fi tọ́jú àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí wa. Ẹni tó ló máa ṣe wọlé fún pé dáa ṣe náà ni pé it's part of shukru, it's part of gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Mùsùlùmí gbọ́dọ̀ acknowledge eléyìí. We must acknowledge this shukru in our life. And that's why in Surah to Ibrahim, Quran 14 verse 7, Allah SWT says, فَإِن تَزَنُوا رَبِّكُمْ لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَإِن كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. And remember when your Lord proclaimed, if you give thanks, I will give you more. But if you are thankless, verily my punishment is indeed very severe. Tó fi túmọ̀ sí pé gbogbo orin tọ́lọ́ bá ṣe fún wa, a gbọ́dọ̀ máa dúpẹ́. Ọlọ́run tí a bá dúpẹ́, wọ́n á fún wa ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ rọ́pò, wọ́n á tún fún wa ní ọ̀kan tó pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó ti fún wa. Ṣùgbọ́n tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá dúpẹ́, tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá mórè o, wọ́n ní pé ìjìyà òun ó le kokoko, Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ká ní ìjìyà Ọlọ́run bá subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, the other issue náà ni pé we must be consistent in our demonstration. Kì í ṣe pé bá bá dúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run bá lẹ́nu tó bá di ọ̀la ká má mórè. We must continue to show gratitude to Allah in all time, in all condition, in all ramification. Ajẹyó ni, àjẹyó ni, alálàáfíà ni, ó kù dẹ̀ káàtó nínú àlàáfíà ara wa ni, inú wa dùn ni, ó kù dẹ̀ káàtó nínú ìdùnnú náà ni, a gbọ́dọ̀ máa dúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run bá. So we must demonstrate consistency in demonstrating in shukr. Now, why are stories told in the Quran? The Quran is not a book of history, it's a book of guidance. Allah told us in Surah Al-Baqarah, Quran chapter 2, verse 184. Allah said, who are the nuns? The Quran is a guidance to humanity. But stories are told. Why are stories told? Allah told us the reason in Quran chapter 7, verse 176. Allah said, relate the story. Perhaps they can reflect. They may reflect. Ẹ sọ ìtàn. Bóyá o, wọ́n á lè ronú. So the stories are told, ká lè ronú. Ìdí kejì náà, nínú Surah to Yusuf náà láti máa mú jáde. Òun náà ni Surah to Yusuf chapter 12, verse 111. Ọlọ́ni, Dàkọ́dé kánà bí kọ́sàsì Ibùrà tó lòlù àdìbá. Man kánà hadisa yuftara wàlá kí n tàṣídé kàdà sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni yàdá. Wàtàṣídà kò lè kú di ṣe wàhúdà wà rahmatan lè kọ́ mi yomi náà. And I said, indeed, in their story, there is a lesson for men of understanding. That is, it is not a forged statement. That is, the Quran is not a forged statement, but a confirmation of what that has been revealed before, and a detailed explanation of everything, and a guide and a mercy for the people who have believed. Ọlọ́run fi sọ fún wa pé ìdí tá a fi tọ́lọ́ ṣe sọ ìtàn fún wa nìyẹn. Ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú àwọn ìtàn tó tí a ju yín. Ọlọ́run tó wá sọ ìtàn yìí fún àwọn fún ẹ̀yin Mùsùlùmí náà. Láti ṣe kí ni o, kẹ́bà fi lè kọ́gbọ́n náà ni, kọ́lọ́ kẹ́bà lé ní ìkẹ́ níwájú Ọlọ́run bá. So that's the reason. Kí náà pè ní lesson? A lesson is something that we learn from. Nǹkan tó dẹ̀ ṣe àti àkọ́gbọ́n lára ẹ̀. Ọlọ́run ní story àfi ń kọ́gbọ́n ni. Tó sábà máa fi parí ìtàn tó lè Surah to Yusuf lénìí. A gbọ́dọ̀ mú ẹ̀kọ́ jáde nínú àwọn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ní ìpele láti ọ̀dọ́ títí di ìgbà tó fi di ogbó. So prophet and a gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ pé prophets are great examples for those of us who are living. Allah will always tell the story of the prophet so that those of us who are living can learn from them. Àwọn ìwà wọn, nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wọn nígbà tó wà láyé, they are also of benefit for us. Sábà lè ronú, ọlọ́fẹ́ kákẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ń pa ẹ̀ nípa ìgbésí ayé wọn. Bákan náà, ìmọ̀ nípa àwọn ànábì Ọlọ́run tó ti ṣáájú wa, it helps us to strengthen our faith as believers. A bá wọ̀ pé àwọn ànábì Ọlọ́run lè ṣẹlẹ̀ sí, àwọn atáàkì ṣe ànábì Ọlọ́run ká lè dúró ṣinṣin. And that the story of Yusuf is specifically mentioned, and that told us the reason why he mentioned it. In Surah to Yusuf, Quran 12, verse 7, Ọlọ́run sọ ní, Lákọ̀ọ́dé kánà fi Yusufa wáhìwà tíhì àyà to the soilin. And I said, verily, in Yusuf and his brethren, they are signs for those who want to know, for those who ask. Nínú ìtàn ànábì Yusuf, àtàwọn ọmọ bàbá rẹ̀ ọlọ́run sọ pé sign ló jẹ́ àmì ló jẹ́ fún àwọn tó bá béèrè àmì ló jẹ́ fún àwọn olùbéèrè tó dára àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ tí a kọ́ náà nìyẹn tábàwò tán Yusuf náà it is a life from one ordeal to another ordeal nínú wàhálà kan sí wàhálà kejì ni it is a life of challenges and blessing it is a life of humiliation from slavery to honour and authority láti inú ẹrú lọ sí ipò ọlá from division to unity ọmọ bàbá wọn pé yẹlẹyẹlẹ wọn ṣe àtakò ara wọn Ọlọ́run tó wá sọ wọn di ẹyọ kan ní ìgbà kẹyìn it's a story of ìbànújẹ́ story of grief to story of joy bàbá bànújẹ́ láti ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ títí for a very long time Ọlọ́run wá sọ ìbànújẹ́ ó sọ di ayọ̀ fún it's a story of abundance to scarcity ìlú tó ti rí jẹ ìlú tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ní mílíkì wọ́n ní wàrà wọn wá ní kí là á ṣe Ọlọ́run tó wá sọ ìlú náà tó wá sọ ìlú tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n tó wá ní they move from scarcity to abundance and these are the things from ìyẹn jà wọn rí jẹ hardship wà títí náà Ọlọ́run tó wá sọ gbogbo wọn náà ó di àwọn tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n jẹ ṣẹ́kù ara àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ tá a lè kọ́ nínú ìtòrí ìtàn Ànábì Yusuf ìtàn ẹ̀kọ́ àkọ́kọ́ òun náà ní nípa ìtàn nípa dreams àti interpretation of dreams a rí mọ̀ pé Ànábì Yusuf Ànábì tó lè pọ̀ Ọlọ́run fi àlá Ọlọ́run fi dá lọ́lá ni now nínú Islam dreams are classified into three there is what we call Rabbaniya ìyẹn ni inspiration from Allah Ọlọ́run ló máa ń fún yàn Ọlọ́run lè máa ń fún Mùsùlùmí tó máa ń ṣe òótọ́ ẹni máa ń ṣe òótọ́ tó rẹ̀ jẹ́ òótọ́ Ọlọ́run máa fi àlá áfíkẹ́ jẹ́ pé tó bá láàlá báyìí bó ṣe máa rí náà nìyẹn ìyẹn náà ń pè ní Rabbaniya ìkejì nínú àlá òun náà ń pè ní Nafsaniya òun náà ní àdìọ́kùn what is in your subconscious what you are thinking about and you now dream of it that is Nafsaniya ìkẹta ní ẹ̀ ní Shaitaniya èṣù ló máa ń fa eléyìí these are the tricks and that's when somebody have nightmare bóyá you have a dream an animal is chasing your dream ṣètà ló máa ń fa eléyìí Islam ní ẹ̀kọ́ nípa bí a ṣe ń treat àlá a Muslim does not lose his faith because of dream a Muslim does not look for ignorant people to help him interpret his dream because interpretation of dream itself is a skill on its own if you don't have the skill don't dabble into it dreams in the same respect dreams cannot be used as a source of sharia ẹlòmíà ló ń lálàá òun gbọ́ kinní kan á lọ ṣe nǹkan tó tako òfin Ọlọ́run bá you cannot use dream as a source of guidance as a Muslim mo fẹ́ fẹ́ ẹnìkan ìgbà tí mo wá lálàá mo ní kan tó black that is not how Allah use dream to guide a believer Allah grant the knowledge of dream interpreted to Prophet Yusuf and many other Muslims after him ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn that apart from Ànábì Yusuf lọ́lọ́ fún ní ẹ̀kọ́ yìí tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n máa làárọ̀ Ànábì máa ń rọ́ àlá fún àwọn sàábé nígbà tó àlàyé á bí àwọn èèyàn ta ló ní àlá ta ló lálàá o tó bá ní kọ́tẹ́ tó lálàá á wá ní àlá tó ń lá lélẹ̀ á dẹ̀ sọ ìtumọ̀ fún àwọn sàábé tẹ́ bá ka ìwé hadith there are chapters on dreams in Islam ẹ̀kọ́ kejì lesson 2 Yusuf told his father of his dream Ànábì Yusuf sọ fún bàbá ẹ̀ pé òun láàlá and this is Surah to Yusuf Quran chapter 12 verse 4 and he said is the call that Yusufu the abi yabati ini ra'aytu hada ashara kawkaba wa shamsa wa al-qamara ra'aytu min as-sajidin Yusuf remember when Yusuf said to his father oh my father verily I saw in a dream 11 stars and the sun and the moon I saw them prostrating themselves to me nǹkan tí Yusuf sọ fún bàbá ẹ̀ nílé òun láàlá o òun rí àwọn ìràwọ̀ mọ́kànlá òun rí oòrùn àti òṣùpá tí wọ́n forí balẹ̀ fún un bàbá ẹ̀ ló lọ bá now the interpretation by Yusuf Ànábì Yusuf òun náà ni pé ó fún ọmọ ẹ̀ ní consolation ó ní kó má sọ fún ọmọ ìyá ẹ̀ do not tell your brother because Yusuf tó yẹ pé ànábì Ọlọ́run Yakub ànábì Ọlọ́run bá ní he know the meaning of that particular dream and what did he do to Yusuf he told him not to tell his brother meaning that ànábì kan sọ fún ẹ pé the evil eye is real àwọn ojú burúkú ó wà nínú Islam ànábì sọ fún abẹ ó yẹ ní ká ṣọ́ra beware of evil eye So kí la ṣe ẹ̀kọ́ wà nínú Islam, how we can protect ourselves and our family and our children from evil eye. Now the lesson we learn from there ni pé how many parents are there to listen to the dream conversation of their children like Yaakub. Ìgbà tí Yusuf lálàá bàbá ẹ̀ ló lọ bá, how many bàbá ló wà available fún ọmọ wọn, how many ìyá ló wà available fún ọmọ wọn. Ìgbà tí Yusuf fún bàbá sọ pé tùmí sílẹ̀ mo busy. Yaakub was not busy. He was not too busy to talk to his son. So the lesson there is that all parents, we must have time for conversation with our children. No matter how irrelevant, how stupid, quote and unquote, let's listen to them. Let's listen to their conversation. Let's be there. Let's help them to interpret their dream. It could be physical dream. Daddy, I want to be an engineer. Daddy, I want to be a medical doctor. What effort are you making to ensure that the dream of your son or your daughter to be an engineer, to be a medical doctor is fulfilled? That's a lesson for me and you in the story of Yusuf. Lesson number 3, sibling rivalry and family tie. A rí mọ̀ pé rivalry láàrin ọmọ òbí kì í ṣe nǹkan tuntun, and it exists among children and will continue to exist in the day of money piano. So ní sọ́tún lábá bí àwọn ọmọ tí wọ́n rival ara wọn, it did start today. But as Muslims, we must not allow it to break the family tie. Gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ kó break the family tie. Torí pé nínú Islam, family tie is very, very important. In fact, Bakara, Quran 2:83, Allah says, La ta'buduna illa Allah, wa bil walidayni ihsan, wa sidil qurba. Allah says, worship not but Allah. Treat with kindness your parents and your family. This is a commandment of Allah. Again, in Surah An-Nisa, Quran chapter 4:36, Allah tó sọ pé, wa ibudullah, wa la tushriku bihi shay'an, wa bil walidayni ihsan, wa sidil qurba. Allah ní, serve Allah. Ẹ̀sìn Ọlọ́run Ọba, ẹ má wá orogún pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run Ọba, ẹ ṣe dáadáa pẹ̀lú àwọn òbí yín àti àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí yín. Ojúṣe Mùsùlùmí láti make sure pé your family tie never break. Ànábì wa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam nínú àdìsá tí àbúrò rẹ̀ gbà wá. Ànábì ní, whoever is pleased that he wants his provision and his wealth to increase and his lifespan to be extended, let him establish tie of kinship. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ pí ọ̀nà àti jẹ mímú ẹ̀, Ọlọ́run kó bùkún, kó pọ̀ sí. Àbí tó bá fẹ́ kí ayé òun, kí ẹ̀mí òun kó gùn lé ayé, ó fẹ́ live a long life, then let him maintain the tie of kinship. Kó má jẹ́ kí okùn ẹbí kó já lọ́wọ́ òun. This hadith is Sahih Buhari, hadith 5,985. Sọ́ra àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ tá a kọ́ nípa lélẹ̀ nìyẹn. Àwọn nítorí pé àwọn brọ́dà Yusuf wọ́n gbógun ti ọmọ ìyá wọn, káwọn nìkan máa gbógun ti ọmọ ìyá wọn, gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe. Torí pé kí ni ara àwọn kan tí ṣẹ̀rí Islam tó takò nìyẹn. Lesson number 4. Every parent treat your children equally with fairness. It is normal for parents to love a child more than others, but we must hide it and not make it visible to other children. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Kí ló ṣe àgbákò fún Yusuf? Òun náà ni pé bàbá rẹ̀ Ànábì Yaakub ó nífẹ̀ẹ́ Yusuf yàtọ̀. Àwọn ọmọ bàbá ẹ̀ wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ó nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀, and that was why they plotted against him. So parents should also endeavor not to show unfair treatment or share preference for a child over others. Even when you love a child more than others, don't make it visible. Má jẹ́ kí àwọn yòókù mọ̀ wípé ìfẹ́ rẹ fún lágbájá nínú àwọn ọmọ yìí ó pọ̀ ju àwọn yòókù lọ. Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam, àdìsí wà láti ọwọ́ Nu'man ibn Bashir. Ó ní, my father gave me a gift. Bàbá mi fún un ní ẹ̀bùn kan, to which Amra bintu Rawiya said, I won't approve it until you tell the messenger of Allah about it. Mo wá lọ sọ́dọ̀ Ànábì Muhammad, ó ní, mo fún ọmọ mi tí ìyàwó mi jẹ́ Amra bintu Rawiya ní ẹ̀bùn kan. And ó wá ní mo gbọ́dọ̀ sọ fún wa Ànábì pé kóun tó gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Ànábì wá bí pé èjò fún àwọn ọmọ mi tó bí wá ní rárá, kóun nìkan ló fún lẹ́bùn. Ànábì wá ní rárá. Bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run bá and treat your children equally. He said, so he returned and took back his gift. Ẹ̀kọ́ ta kọ́ ní àdìsí ni pé arákùnrin ó ní ọmọ jọyọ kan lọ, ó wá mú ẹ̀bùn kan tó yàtọ̀, ó fún ọmọ kan tí ìyàwó ẹ̀ kan bí fún. Ìyàwó ara àwọn mùsùlùmí dáadáa lélẹ̀. kò fẹ́ gbà á torí mọ̀ pé bàbá yìí ní ọmọ mi wà lọ bí ànábì wa ní pé ṣé o fún àwọn ọmọ tó kù ó lóun fún àwọn nìkan lóun fún àmì rárá bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run bá treat your children equally and return those gifts back to him. Àdìsí wà ní sọ̀rọ̀ Muslim àdìsí 1623 wọ́n lè wà ní sọ̀rọ̀ Buhari náà àdìsí 2587. Now ìfẹ́ tí ànábì Yakubu ní sí ànábì Yusuf òun ló fa wàhálà òun ló fa plot evil plot tí àwọn bàbá rẹ̀ tán plot against ẹ̀ tó sọ di ẹni ọsọ di sínú kànga tó fi di ẹrú. Now the lesson we learn is that avoid favoritism among your children. No matter how much you love a child, let it be within your heart. Treat them equally. Be open to all of them equally. Lesson number 5. Yakub's separation with his son became a source of grief to him. Like we have said, Yakub loved Yusuf. And after the children plotted, and they took Yusuf again away, the father was not ready to release him. They told the father, we are going to look after him, we are going to take care of him. And Yakub told them, I don't want you to come and tell me that a wolf has killed Yusuf. And the children were also not, they were not smart. After they came back and told their father that when they were playing, a wolf killed Yusuf. So they used what their father said against what their father told them is what to use as their own explanation. So, Baba Yusuf, Anabi Yaku, and this kind of a separation is a test. It's a patient. Like when we talk about tests earlier on, this is a test of the third categories, Al-Bala. Allah will continue to test us with our children. Allah will continue to test us with our wives. Allah will continue to test us with our head. Allah will continue to test us with our businesses. Allah will continue to test us with our dwelling. Where we live. But what do? It's for us to exercise patience. Or ìbànújẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jáde ẹnu wa. A gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe sùúrù ni. And kí ni response bàbá? Now, Allah even told us in Surah to Bakara, Quran 2 verse 116. And you come in my church, what did Allah say? Chapter 2 verse 116, Allah say, Wansa takra ushea, wa halu lakum. Wansa tuibu shea, wa shalu lakum. Wallahu ya'lamu wa antum la ta'lamun. Only though you dislike it too, it may be like you dislike a thing which is good for you. Though you may like it too, it may be that you like something that is bad for you. So ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wa tó jẹ́ aburú dáadáa wà ńbẹ̀. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ aburú ní ìta máa rò pé aburú dáadáa ni. Èmi tó yẹ pé dáadáa lójú tiwa náà aburú ni. So what was the response of Jacob to the children? Ìyẹn wà ní chapter 12 verse 18. Bàbá ò sọ̀rọ̀ òdì, kò sọ̀rọ̀ ìbànújẹ́, kò bínú sọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ púpọ̀. Ó ní amúran àfàsọ́bùrù jẹ̀mí wallahu musta'an. Only for me, patience is the most fitting. Pẹ̀lẹ́ mi o, sùúrù ni màá ṣe. Ọlọ́run bá nìkan náà ni màá wà lọ́wọ́ látọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀. A Muslim only seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In everything you want to do, seek help from Allah. Because of this, he cried over the loss of his son. What happened to him? And then Yakub lost his sight. He became blind out of this. So it was a period of sorrow. It was a period of grief for a period of 30 years, which we are going to come out to let us know later. Lesson number 6. We must always struggle to avoid sin as human beings. The brother of Yusuf, they committed a crime, and because of the crime they committed a crime against Allah, against their parents, and against Yusuf. They throw Yusuf away. And because of that, they committed a crime against Allah. They had to lie to their father. They had to justify the lie. And that's when you are a liar, you need another lie to sustain a lie. And for the second lie to be upheld, then you need another lie again. And this is why falsehood is not a way of life of a Muslim. So because of this, they lie against Allah, they lie against Yusuf, or they committed a crime against Yusuf and his parents, and they committed crime against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you told a lie, you need another lie to justify it. However, they repented later in their life, and they humbled themselves, and Allah asked, and they asked their dad to forgive them. This is in Surah to Yusuf, verse 97. What did they say? The children say, Qalu ya bana, ighfir lana dhunubana inna hatina. They said, oh, our father, ask forgiveness from Allah for our sin. Indeed, we have been sinners. So they remember that. They now ask their father to ask Allah to forgive them of their sin. You also remember that our father Adam and our mother Hawa, when they realized their sin, what did they say? Rabbana salamuna fusana wa in lam takun alhamna la nakuna min al-asirin. This is in Surah to the Araf, Quran chapter 7, verse 23. And the two of them cried to their Lord, oh Allah, if you do not forgive us our sin, we are going to be a loser. And Allah said, we forgive them of their sin. So, Tawbah is what Allah needs. A sinner has a hope if he's ready to seek repentance from his sin. And in an hadith in Ibn Majah, the Rasul said, the one who has repented from his sin is like the one who has not committed any sin at all. So that's the lesson we learn from that. Lesson number 7, from grace to slavery. From grace to slavery. Yusuf was living with his own parents, and everything was okay for him. They plotted to kill him, but they committed a crime which was grievous by throwing him into the well. The brothers were very close to the well until the caravan people came. So when the people of caravan, when they wanted to draw water, instead of them to draw water, it was Yusuf to draw out. And they were aware that it was their brother that are there. And the people shouted, they have seen a very good gift. And that's a boy. And what did they say? They saw their brother with a very few dirham. The prophet of Allah, a Nabi, was sold by the brother for a few dirham. And I mentioned that to us in Surah to Yusuf, verse 20. What did they say? They say, what shall I be summoning the housing the Arajun Maduda? And they sold him for a little price. They sold him for a few dirham. And there were those who regarded him very, very insignificant. They didn't see their brother as significant. That's why they sold him off. They sold their brother because of jealousy. This is what jealousy do among human beings. When you are jealous of people, you are jealous of, there's something you cannot do. You can go to any extent to kill him. You can go to any extent to harm him. You can go to any extent to bring him down. So their brother, because of jealousy, what did they do? They have to sell him off so their father will not see him and the father will not show extra love towards him. Lesson number 8. From that well, what happened to him? He went into the palace. The people that took him from that well, they took him to the palace. They were big people who took him and adopted him. And that is in Surah to Yusuf again, verse 21. They say, Wakola, that is, Ishtara mi misiri le muratihi. Akrimi Masuwa Asa Anya Fauna Au Anataisa Wadada. What did they say? And the man from Egypt who bought him said to his wife, make his stay comfortable. Maybe we profit first and we shall adopt him as a son. You can see from where they made him a son in the palace. And Allah now said, Allah now established Yusuf in the land. In the same, Allah now said, وَكَذَلِكَ مَنْ كَانَ لِيُوسُفَ بِالْحَدِيثِ وَلِنُعَلِّمَهُ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْحَدِيثِ. And I said, thus we established Yusuf in the land, and we taught him the interpretation of events. So somebody who was sold into the well ended up being adopted by a king, and he started living his life inside the palace. Inside the palace again, he has a problem. And what was the problem? The wife of the Aziz, the wife of the prime minister, the wife of the king, trying to seduce Yusuf. Now, a lot of us will be worrying, why? Yusuf was very, very beautiful. If you can use that word for a man. The prophet told us that if you look at all the beauties of the world, that the beauty of Yusuf was almost half of the beauty of the entire human being. So it was very, very, Allah made him very handsome. Now, the wife of the Aziz will not do what we call self-restraint. The woman of beauty, the woman of position, now showing advances to a boy they adopted. And we also know that Yusuf was in his prime, he was a young man, very youthful. All the beauty in him was very radiant. He also had the energy. But what saved him was through faith. It was a class. It was Iman. Otherwise, we will have fallen. If Allah has not assisted, if Allah has not helped him. Now, what lesson do we learn from here? Many of us cannot resist ordinary woman or man. Not to talk of a woman of wealth or a woman of beauty. The woman was a woman of wealth and a woman of beauty. So many of us cannot even resist just a woman of low virtue. Zina has become an industry today in a global world. In Nigeria, they call it hookup, they call it olosho. These are modern prostitutes. I also know in the developed world, in Netherlands, they display themselves like weird on the street. Zina lifestyle and immoral relationship have become the norm among our youth today, among the adults, among married and unmarried. Àwa tá a dé àgbàlagbà gan, tá a níyàwó, tá a lọ́kọ, bá a ṣe ń rìn, bá a ṣe ń wọṣọ, ìhùwàsí wa náà, ìhùwà ìṣìnà ni. Ìsọ̀rọ̀sí wa náà, ìsọ̀rọ̀sí ìṣìnà ni. So it has become a problem in the world. But what did Allah tell us? In Surah Al-Isra, Quran 17 verse 32, Allah says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. Allah said, do not come near zina. It's an immoral sin and it's a way of evil. And as youth, some of us can say we are youngster, ọmọdé ni wá now, àti dàgbà now, and that is not going to ask us questions. I'm quoting this hadith in At-Tirmidhi. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Every person will provide answer to this question before he moves. What are these questions? Number one, your lifetime. How did you spend it? Number two, your youth and your body. How did you make use of them? Number three, your wealth. How did you earn it? And number four, your wealth. How did you spend it? And finally, your knowledge. How did you make use of it? So the point we are making that those of us who are youngsters, who are young, we should not take it as a license for us to commit crime. And that is going to ask us questions about our youth, about our body, and how we make use of the body and our youthful period. This is in At-Tirmidhi and in Sahih hadith 946. Like we said, sinner, adultery and fornication is mentioned in the Quran after shirk and murder. But I'm not sure ká bá Ọlọ́run bá wórogún, ká pààyàn, nǹkan mìíràn tọ́lọ́run mẹ́tọ́ sọ tẹ̀lé ẹ̀ náà ní ká ṣe náà ní ṣìnà. Ó wà ní Surah Al-Furqan, Quran 35 verse 68. Kò dẹ̀ the remember of nǹkan tó ń yọ ìgbàgbọ́ àti ìmọ́lẹ̀ kúrò lọ́kàn èèyàn, òun náà ní ṣìnà. Abu Hurairah gba àdìsí láti ọ̀dọ̀ Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ní a fornicator and adulterer does not fornicate while he's a believer. The same way a thief does not steal while he's a believer. Faith will only return to him or her when he has finished his fornication or when he has finished stealing. So mean that when you are committing adultery or fornication, you are not a believer. Somebody asked Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal about zina. He said, I do not know of any sin after murder that is worse than zina. So it is patient to be able to resist the seduction from the opposite sex. And it takes iman and steadfastness to be able to do that. What do we need to do? Is for us to harvest good friends so that we are not destroyed with adultery and his associate. Yusuf refused to commit adultery with the wife of the Aziz, and he preferred to go to jail. And this is Quran chapter 12, verse 33. And that's it. Yusuf now said, Qala Rabbi, Sijini ahabu illa mimma yadihunani ilayh. He said, oh my Lord, the prison is more pleasing to me than what they are inviting me to do. I prefer to go to jail than for me to do what they ask me to do. So today, the principle of Islam is that whoever did something for the sake of Allah, Allah will compensate him with something that is better. Yusuf left adultery. He refused to commit the adultery. He decided to go to jail. By Allah, from that jail, he went back to the palace and became a big man. Now, lesson number 10. Dawah is an obligation at all times. dawah to, when Yusuf was in the jail, he was still doing dawah. But he met some people in jail and interpreted dream for them. He told one, you are going to go to the palace and you are going to be with the king. And to you, another one, you are going to be executed and animals, birds will eat your corpse. Now, the one that said was going to go to the palace, went to the palace, and there was a problem in the palace. Now they remember him. Now, the people in the jail, Yusuf was doing dawah to them. You can check that in Quran chapter 12, verses 39 to 40. What did he say? He said, "O two companions of the prison, are many different laws better, or Allah is the one that is irresistible?" He was inviting them to Tawheed. Even in jail, even with all the deprivation that he had, he now said, you do not worship beside him, that is beside Allah, but only name which have been forged. Don't mention other gods beside Allah. All things that are fake, don't mention them. Ẹ má ṣe gbọ́ Ọlọ́run bá wórogún. Àwọn tó pé tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ pé ẹ fúnra ẹ fún ọ lórúkọ tí wọ́n fi ṣe Ọlọ́run bá. Ẹ má ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. And he said, the command is for none but Allah. Inú ló hukmu illa lillah. Gbogbo ìdájọ́ tí Ọlọ́run bá ní. Whatever that come to you, always take it back to Allah. Take it back to Allah. And amara Allah ta'budu illa iyyahu zalika dinul qayyim walakin akthara an-nas la ya'lamun. And that is now said that is the standard religion. But most mankind do not know this. This is dawah. So Yusuf took advantage of the request to interpret him. He invited them to Allah to preach Tawheed to them. Allah, what is holding you from doing dawah to your family? What is holding you from doing dawah to your co-worker, to your neighborhood, where you are not in prison? Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa àsílẹ̀wọ̀n lè ṣe wàásù fún mọ̀lẹ́bí wa, fún àwọn adájọ́ ṣiṣẹ́, àwọn alábàágbé wa, àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí wa. Dawah can be done. A lè ṣe dawah pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ ẹnu, a lè ṣe pẹ̀lú ìhùwàsí wa, a lè ṣe pẹ̀lú appearance wa. Allah told us in Surah Fussilat, Quran 41 verse 30, Allah said, wa man hazana qawla liman da'a ila Allah wa amila salihan wa qala innani minal muslimin. And Allah said, who is better in his speech? Ta ni ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ dáa nínú, ta ló dáa nínú ọ̀rọ̀ ju ẹni tó sọ pé tó ń ṣe ìpè sí ọ̀dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Ọba. Ó dẹ̀ ń ṣe pẹ̀lú, ó tẹ̀lé pẹ̀lú iṣẹ́ dáadáa. Ó dẹ̀ sọ pé èmi wà lára àwọn ẹni tó jẹ́ pé ó jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí. This is dawah. You invite to Allah, you do righteous deed, and you also proclaim it with your appearance, with your action, that you are a believer. Lesson number 11. This is the dream of the king. The king has a dream of 7 emaciated cows being eaten up by 7 plump cows. Ọba ìlàlà màálù méje tí ò lálàáfíà, màálù méje míì tó lálàáfíà tán dúró déédéé, wọ́n ń jẹ àwọn màálù tí ò lálàáfíà. Ó wá pe àwọn èèyàn pé kí ni ìtumọ̀ ẹ̀. Nobody knew the interpretation. Ẹni tí Yusuf tó kò ní ẹ̀wọ̀n lọ́jọ́ sí, ìgbà tó fẹ́ jáde kò ní ẹ̀wọ̀n, Yusuf sọ fún mi pé kó jẹ́ iṣẹ́ fún ọ̀gá ẹ̀ tó bá dọ̀hún. Gbàtẹ́ni ẹ̀dọ̀ kò rántí jíṣẹ́ kò tẹ̀ lẹ́sí pé Yusuf ń bẹ rárá nínú ẹ̀wọ̀n. Náà ó wá rántí pé òun ní ẹnìkan tó máa lárọ́, ló wá sọ fún ọba pé òun mọ ẹnìkan tó wà nínú ẹ̀wọ̀n. So they now send this man back to the prison. Láti lọ bá Yusuf kó sọ fún. Now Yusuf did not jump into the offer. Ó ní kán bí àwọn ìyàwó ọba Imratul Aziz àtàwọn obìnrin tí wọ́n gé ọwọ́ ara wọn pẹ̀lú ọ̀bẹ, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wọn? And the king now have to find out kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Yusuf tó wà nínú ẹ̀wọ̀n. Ṣé lóòótọ́ ni àbí irọ́? Wọ́n á jẹ́wọ́ pé rárá àwọn parọ́ mọ́ ni o. Àwọn náà àwọn fẹ́ sùn Yusuf. So Yusuf became clear of the allegation of seduction. That's the first one. Now Yusuf now interpreted the hadith or the dream for the king. What did he tell them? 7 years of famine ọdún méje kan máa wà tí wọ́n máa ní abundance, wọ́n á jẹ ṣẹ́kù. Ọdún méje nídẹ̀ máa wà tó jẹ́ pé èèyàn máa mú fún àwọn ìlú wọ̀nyẹn. Yusuf tó wá sọ fún ẹ̀ nǹkan tó máa ṣe. He did not only interpret the dream for them, he also told them what they need to do. So the year of abundance, they need to keep, they need to store. Wọn gbọ́dọ̀ fi ọwọ́ mẹ́wẹ̀ẹ́ wọn gbọ́dọ̀ fi jẹun torí ọdún méje tó jẹ́ pé ìyẹn máa mú. Now, he told them to be precautious, to take caution, to store, and to economize. The lesson we learn is that when things are plenty with us, remember there's going to be there could be a dry time. In the same respect, what lesson do we learn? You don't hide knowledge. Allah bless you with any type of knowledge. Allah bless you with the knowledge of what is going to happen. He did not stay there on the dream alone. He gave them the recommendation of what they should do. To ask people, when you are confused, it's a teaching of Islam. In Surah Al-Anbiya, Quran 21 verse 7, Allah says, "Fa'asi'alu ala sikri in kuntum la in an authentic candidate who said, the care of ignorance is by asking. And it's an authentic hadith. So, in any condition we find ourselves, let's endeavor to ask. You cannot practice Islam with ignorance. And that's the only way to perfect your faith. That's the only way to improve. God was stagnant. If that was last year, then I was not doing. From then last year, to improve. The same question we asked last year, we're not actually doing. So we shouldn't be stagnant. So what now happened? Lesson number 12. From prison to director of Exchequer or a prime minister. Allah rewarded Yusuf for the hardship in the prison and gave him supremacy in the land. So after when he interpreted that dream, so he was released. And they became humiliated. Yusuf was declared innocent. He was clear of all allegations. And the sunnah of Allah is that Allah will always, to all his slaves, whether in the past or in the present, today Yom Kiyama, is that whatever you have not done, and people accuse you of doing that, Allah will raise your honor, Allah will exonerate you, Allah will elevate you after whatever hardship, whatever deprivation you get or you meet, or that visited you because of that. So because of this, you should climb the higher degree of honor, virtue, honesty, and excellence. All of those but don't clear to all those also the Alagbara, also the prime minister. But even with that, about the prime minister, told the Alagbara Nilu, ìyẹn tí wọ́n ń lu bàbá ẹ̀ àwọn bọ̀dẹ́ àti wá sí ìlú tó ń wà ní Egypt wọ́n máa wá oúnjẹ Yusuf dẹ̀ mọ̀ wọ́n àwọn mọ̀ pé Yusuf ni á tó jẹ fún wọn tó fi jẹ́ pé òun náà wá ṣe bàbá àti ìyá àtọmọ wọn padà ní ọjọ́ kan náà wọ́n padà wá rí Yusuf. Now there are so many lessons that you can learn from the story of Yusuf other than what we have said. Yusuf came back. The father came back, the mother came back, and Yusuf forgave his brother. The forgiveness of Yusuf to his brother is in Quran chapter 12, verses 91 to 92. What other lesson can we learn from the story of Yusuf? Number one, to seek help from people. Agbọ́dọ̀ máa béèrè ìrànlọ́wọ́ fún yàn. Nígbà tí Yusuf sọ fún ẹni tó nínú ẹ̀wọ̀n, this is Surah to Yusuf verse 42. Ó ní ìskúrú ní ìdá rọ̀bíkà fún àǹsá òṣètò ní zikira rọ̀bí fọ́nà àdìsá àti síjìnì bídí ìsìnì. Mention me to your king, but Shaitan made it to forget to mention it to him. And Yusuf stayed in the prison for a few years. Some scholars said Allah punished Yusuf for extra years in the prison. Then instead for him to ask Allah to release him from the prison, he was directing his request to the king. And that's why Allah made Shaitan to make that man to forget. And the man never delivered his message. Now, However, it is permissible to ask someone beside Allah for help in regular tasks that he or she is able to perform. Wàá túmọ̀ sí pé tá a bá ní ìrànlọ́wọ́ tá a yẹ ká bí ẹnìkan àgbọ́dọ̀ bìyàn àgbọ́dọ̀ bí àwọn èèyàn ṣùgbọ́n ní kí ni àwọn nǹkan mẹ́ta wà tó yẹ pé o gbọ́dọ̀ qualify. Ẹni tá a fẹ́ seek help lọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀, he must be alive. A Muslim does not go to a graveyard and seek the help of a dead person. The person who wants to seek his help must be alive. He must not be dead. Ìkejì náà ni he must have the ability to do that help. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ ní agbára láti ṣe ìkàtà kó ṣe bóyá àwọn bẹ̀rẹ̀ 1,000 ní àmọ́ kó ní 10,000 lọ́wọ́. He has that ability, so we are not doing anything wrong. Number 3, not by prosy. These are the 3 conditions for Muslims to ask questions or to seek help from human beings. Otherwise, we must seek help only from Allah alone. Now, other lesson is for us, can we ask for position? When Yusuf when he was free, he was the one who asked the king for position. He said, this is verse 55 of Surah Yusuf. He said, Yusuf said, set me over the storehouses of the land. I will indeed guard them with full knowledge. One of the things we learned from the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad is that we should not ask for position. We don't ask for position. Yusuf was the one who was asking the king the position it should be kept, it should be given. Was it wrong? No, it was not wrong. It is believed that Yusuf was the only one who had that knowledge, and that's why he was asking for that particular position. So if it is allowed, if you know you are the only person who have that skill and competence on a particular thing, and there are no other person among you who can do it, don't be shy to demand for it. Because if you don't demand for it, there's going to be a problem, and the problem can consume all of you. You remember what Allah told us in Surah Al-Anfal, Quran chapter 8, verse 25. And that's what happened to fitness, and that's to see Bana Sola Mumi Kuazo, Wala Muana Shadi the call. Allah said, Ebderu Fitina. So you have to buy Shele, attending Toma, attend Toma, no Korifa. So because of your knowledge that you have hidden, there's a major problem that can consume you. So if you have the skill, you have the competence, don't shy. You can seek that particular position, and Allah is going to assist you. Other lesson we need to learn is that prophets are tested with great trial. Prophet Yaqub was a prophet of Allah. Yusuf was a prophet of Allah. Yaqub got separated from his son for a period of 30 years. That is day one. If Yusuf was, that's about 15 years. Then another 30 years, that's about 45 years. So the father was separated from his son for a period of 30 years. And it was a period of 30 years of grief, 30 years of sadness. He lost his sight due to the grief. But whom did he complain to? He only complained to Allah. Many of us, when we have problems, we take our problem to human beings. If you say what is happening in Yoruba land today, with reckless preaching, reckless statement, most of these people will gather at Afar. They are saying they are doing it because they want to recruit people to their side. That's what they are saying. They are doing all those things. So you run away from them. Complain your problem, your challenge to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what's the evidence for that? In Quran chapter 12, verse 86, the father Yaqub said, Qala, Inama ashkuru bashi wa husin illa Allah, wa halamu min Allah ma la ta'lamun. He said, I only complain of my grief and sorrow to Allah. I know from Allah that which you don't know. So Yaqub complained. Ta ló gbé ìṣòro ẹ̀ lọ́ba, ọlọ́ba ló lọ́ba. Èdùn àìṣedéédé ìbànújẹ́ tó bá Ọlọ́run ló lọ́ba sọ, kò bá dà lọ́ba sọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lo tàjúdù wa, ẹ jẹ́ ká lo Ramadan wa, ẹ jẹ́ ká lo kìyàmù láìlè wa, ẹ jẹ́ ká lo tàràwì wa, ká fi bọ́ lọ́ba sọ̀rọ̀ nípa kan tó ń dùn wá. And Allah is there to do it for us. Now, how did Allah restore the sight of Yusuf, of Yaqub? Ànábì Yusuf fúnra rẹ̀ ó wá mú aṣọ ẹ̀ kan, ó ní ká lọ fún bàbá òun, tó bá ti dé ilé, kán fi wo ojú bàbá òun, pé bàbá òun máa ríran. And by Allah, the sight of the father was restored. Àwọn ànábì Ọlọ́run bá wọn máa ń ṣe mírèkù. Every prophet has miracle, and that we call it mujiza. And then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he performed so many miracles, so many. So when Christians challenge you, there are so many of them. Muslims don't mention them because Allah has not listened to God of the Arab. And the greatest miracle of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the glorious Quran. Ànábì jí ọmọ tó kú, obìnrin kan ọmọ ẹ̀ kú, ó lè lọ bá ànábì yá Rasulullah, I have started this because I don't want to cry. This is the only son I have. And the prophet collected the child from him and prayed for him. The child came back to life. But that is not the reason why Allah has raised Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah has raised him to be a guidance to humanity. And he has used the Quran as his own miracle, the eternal miracle, the everlasting miracle of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another lesson is that taqwa and patience protect one from the punishment of Allah. Tábà ní bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run bá, tá dẹ̀ ní sùúrù, Ọlọ́run á dáàbò wá ní ìjìyà Ọlọ́run bá. And the evidence for that is the same Surah, Surah to Yusuf, verse 12, chapter 12, verse 19. Yusuf was the one who was not suffering. He now said, "Inna man yataki wa yasbiru, fa inna Allah la yudhi'u ajra al-muhsinin." He who has taqwa and is patient, then surely Allah makes not the reward of the doer of good to be lost. This Allah talking. Why did he make this statement? When the brother now saw him, they now said, "Are you Yusuf?" He said, "Yes." And now said, "Qalu aynaka lahanta Yusuf." Qala ana Yusuf wa zahi. Qadimana Allah alayna. They said, "Are you indeed Yusuf?" They now saw what he was doing. If it does not know then, there is no way he would have done that. "Are you Yusuf?" He said, "Yes, I am Yusuf, and this is my brother Binyamin." At that time, ó ti gba Binyamin sọ́dọ̀, ó ti fi ọgbọ́n gbà sọ́dọ̀, kó dúró sọ́dọ̀ wọn ní ká lọ mú bàbá wọn wá. So he now said, Allah has indeed been gracious to us. He now said, "You who have taqwa, ẹni bá ní bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run bá, tó dẹ̀ ní sùúrù, surely Ọlọ́run ní sọ iṣẹ́ dáadáa, Ọlọ́run ní sọnù." And that's the reward you get from the story of Yusuf. With your taqwa and your patience, Allah is not going to punish you. You are not going to be punished, but rather Allah will always be there for you. In Surah to Tola, Allah said, whoever will fear Allah, Allah will be there for him. Allah will be sufficient for him. Allah will always take him out of the difficulty. In the same respect, another lesson that we should beg always for steadfastness. All this we have said about Yusuf, there is no one that is above mistake. Nobody. What has helped Yusuf is Allah. And that is what Yusuf was saying in Surah to Yusuf again, Quran chapter 12, verse 101. He said, "Tawafani Muslim wa alaykum bis-salihin." He said, "Cause me to die as Muslim and join me with the righteous." So he was still telling Allah, with all the steadfastness as a prophet of Allah, for Allah to cause him to die as a Muslim and to join him with the righteous. This is a prayer of all of us as Muslims, for Allah to cause us to die as Muslims and for Allah to join us with the company of those who are righteous. Another lesson is that Shaitan is always there to sow enmity among families, husband and wife, family, parents and children, siblings, among themselves. It is Shaitan that is doing that. And the evidence for that is Surah to Yusuf, chapter 12, verse 100. All of them are now saying that it is Shaitan that sowed discord, that sowed enmity among them. And they realized that it was the work of Shaitan. All of us, when Shaitan gives us a suggestion, what do? We must always seek forgiveness, we must seek protection from Allah by saying, it's an evil suggestion. Allah mentioned that in Surah Al-Araf, chapter 7, verse 200. There is whispering of Shaitan. Seek refuge in Allah against Shaitan by saying, and Shaitan is going to run away. That's a simple remedy. That's a simple dua that you can do to overcome Shaitan. The other lesson is that knowledge has assisted Yusuf in so many ways. It was the knowledge he had that he used in the prison that gave him respect in the prison. It was the knowledge he had that gave him authority to become whom he became with the king. It was also the knowledge that he used to manage the affairs of Egypt when he was in charge of the treasury, the economy of the state. It was also this knowledge that he had that was able to manage the expenditure, the resources of the state, and there was no problem. And a Muslim should ask for beneficial knowledge. It's one of the things that Allah wants us to ask. Knowledge that benefits, we should ask all the time. And Allah will always give it to us. Now, another lesson is that Prophet Yaqub and Yusuf left explain teaches us how to face adversity. The life of Yaqub was that of adversity. Ìgbésí ayé Yusuf àti Yaqub àìmọye àwọn trial tribulation ló ṣẹlẹ̀. And that's why in Quran chapter 12 verse 83, and he said, Amru fasabru jamil, asala an yatiyani bihi jamia innahu huwal alimul hakim. He said, patience is most fitting for me. May Allah maybe Allah will bring them back to me. The father was very optimistic that Yusuf and Binyam is going to come back. Truly, he is Allah, is only one, is all-knowing, and is wise. That is what knowledge does. And that is, we need to learn that the life of prophets of Allah are that of adversity, that of trial, and that as Muslims, the level of your iman is the level of your adversity. The level of your righteousness, the level of your adversity, the level of trial. The prophets of Allah are the highest grade, and their trial is at the highest level, and followed by the Siddiq, those who are truthful, and that will make their own to be very high. So, whatever trial you have, it's according to your level of iman. May Allah not give you a trial that will overcome us. May Allah continue to make us be victorious over all trials and tribulations. Finally, crying. The brother of Yusuf, they were crying. Crying is not an evidence of sincerity in Sharia, in Islam. The brothers of Yusuf cried, and they were all lying. They cried to their father that they did not kill Yusuf. It was a wolf. And at the end of the day, it was all lie. There was a judge called Surah. He was a very big judge in Baghdad. So a case was brought before him. And the woman was crying, making a statement. She was crying. So the second judge, he said the truth, seeing crying. What was the response of Surah? Surah said, have you not read the story of Yusuf and his brother? They cried to their father, and they were lying. That somebody is crying does not mean he's saying the truth. This is where we are going to end this talk. We pray Allah to forgive me where I made mistake. May Allah make us to understand this story better. Let us learn the lesson in the story of Yusuf. So when you are down, please try to Yusuf. When you are up, please try to Yusuf. Whatever condition that happened to you is contained in the story of Yusuf. And like I told you earlier on, it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad in a period of sorrow when he lost his wife and he lost his uncle Abu Talib, and everybody deserted him. And the people of Makkah also deserted them, and the entire Muslim. So it was a period of grief. And Allah used this story and Surah to Duha and Surah Al-Nashira to gladden him, to revive their spirit. May Allah revive our spirit anytime when we are down. May Allah uplift for when we are down. May Allah be our companion when we are lonely. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Ahlan wa sallam wa marhaba. A dúpẹ́ fún àwọn prof wa fún a very comprehensive lesson from the life of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Kí Ọlọ́run kó bá wa reward yín púpọ̀, kó sì bá wa ṣe dáadáa fún yín. We really enjoy you, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó fún yín lálàáfíà, kó dẹ̀ fún yín ní ẹ̀mí gúngùn láti continue lórí dáwà yìí. Every time we call on you to give a lecture on this program, inshallah Rahman, we always enjoy you because of the academic way the lecture always goes. Academic way is one of the best. You can make your presentation for people to understand step by step. So thank you so much. Kí Ọlọ́run kó bá wa reward yín. A lè sọ ilé ìtàn. Kọ́lọ́run kó bá wa ṣàánú fún yín, kó bá wa dúró tàn ọmọ yín, gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ kó jọ. Ọlọ́run kó má jẹ́ kẹ́ fi ọwọ́ ara yín dànù. kó bá fún yín ní àlàáfíà tó pọ̀ jọmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ pọ̀ tí àwọn sheik wa ti bá wa sọ bọ̀yí tí màá kàn jẹ́ kí a gbọ́yé jù tí wọ́n sọ fún wa tí màá kàn rán wa létí òun ni pé steadfastness tí Yusuf bá dúró dáadáa ọlọ́ba ní la taqnatu min rahmatillah tó bá ti sọ ìrètí nù ni ipe ó máa da fóun even bàbá Yusuf òun náà sọ ìrètí nù ipò máa padà pàdé Yusuf but ó dúró lórí pé òun á rí Yusuf padà ń jọkàn ṣáwọn á pàdé ọlọ́run ọba àlékiọlá tó dẹ̀ máa ń wà lẹ́yìn ẹni tó bá dúró déédéé tó bá wà pẹ̀lú ọlọ́run wa man yattaqillaha yaj'al lahu makhraja wa yarzuqhu min haythu la yahtasib wa man yatawakkal 'ala Allah fahuwa hasbuhu inna Allaha balighu amrihi qad ja'ala Allahu likulli shay'in qadira ẹ̀rí kò sí bó ṣe lè wù kó le tó láyé kò síbi dààmú yẹn ṣe lè wù kó rìn jìnnà tó kò síbi tí ò bá wù wọ́n kọ́ sókọ́ sí kọ́ rìn sí kọ́ ti pẹ́ bọ́ ṣe wù bọ́ kọ́ ti kún kọ́ ti sọ̀rọ̀ ẹlẹ́yìn kọ́ ti ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ wà inna judana lamul ghalibu ọba aláàmọ bí ó ṣe yọ ẹ́ má jákànnù orí ọlọ́run. That is where I'm going to stop from what he has given us. But before the questions, I know so many of us will have so many questions we want to ask regarding this or some other questions tó tún ní ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn nǹkan báyìí. Mo fẹ́ sọ fún wa pé the sadaqah we are doing to our brothers and sisters in Nigeria in the month a máa ń ṣe nínú Ramadan and after Ramadan kí Ọlọ́run kó san gbogbo àwọn tó ti ń bá wa dá sí ètò yìí bọ̀ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ Ọlọ́run kó san yín lẹ́san tó pọ̀. The program continues. So if you still want to join us in this holy month of Ramadan to help our brothers and sisters in Nigeria, you also want to look into the screen. My number is there. Page. My number is there. My number is there. My number is there. Láti lo Zelle, láti fi send there sí wa. Nǹkan t'Ọlọ́run bá fún ní kálukú lágbára ni kó ṣe kí Ọlọ́run bá kó ṣe ń rọrùn fún wa. Inshallah tí ìbéèrè bá wà ẹ jẹ́ ká béèrè ìbéèrè wa báyìí.